And here you go.
No, it's not.
Your name is
Nora.
Nora. And when did you change it to Awkwafina?
When I was like 15 or 16.
And for what reason?
I've always been very awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Just this is a part of my vibe, like my aura.
Right.
Yeah. There's a play on words.
Right.
Of that.
So you said instead of awkward, because that would have been just 2 on the money.
Right. It would have been awkward.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Your name is
Nora.
Nora.
So what? I don't understand what that was trying to tell us.
Shh. Oh, 1 second.
Was there more to that?
No, basically, it's stating that her reasoning behind she gives a fake reason to Ellen DeGeneres about why she uses it. So she tells she goes on one hand and says Awkwafina is based on the culture that she's been around in Queens, et cetera, et cetera. That's what she said. That's the problem. You can't sit there and tell people.
So it's the inconsistency.
It's the very inconsistent. You sit there telling everybody, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to understand.
No, I got you.
Again, if that's what we're doing, if people are going to call her a culture vulture or something like that, if that's where we're going, then we need to ask, where is that line drawn specifically? It makes sense for Iggy Azalea because not only is she putting that on, when she actually gets asked and called out about real historical things about hip hop, she is completely off base. But if you were to ask G-Eazy or Eminem those questions, they would know those fucking answers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What makes Lil Dicky acceptable, but and Lonely Island acceptable, but doesn't make her like that? That's what I'm trying. But
Lil Dicky, again, the thing with Lil Dicky is even on the show, he has openly admitted a lot of rappers do not like him. He has openly stated that a lot of rappers fucking hate him.
Yeah, Charlemagne hated him for a long time. I know he had mentioned he had him because he had him at the end of the first season of Dave, where they reenacted him on The Breakfast Club for the first time, and Charlemagne was like, "What you clearly are mocking our culture and shit. What the fuck are you doing?" You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out, and I know that this stuff is not just smooth across the board. I just want to try and figure out so we can have these conversations and figure this shit out. What is acceptable, what works, and why specifically this and not others that we should equally be going at.
But the thing is, but I think the thing is behind that, we do go with the others. You don't see it possibly. You see what I'm saying?
I do, but
we do go with the others.
But I do, because trust me, one of the things that everybody got.
The other thing is, you just stated it. Everyone else you have mentioned has acknowledged when people have come at them. Every single person you mentioned.
So it's just that she specifically hasn't acknowledged.
She keeps ignoring it. She acts as if it's not a thing. Everybody else has openly acknowledged, yes, I know where this culture came from. I know Lil Dicky has stated that on his thing. I know whose culture this is.
Wait,
I'm a fan of this culture.
Wait, what? Comparing somebody's vag to Serena Williams in a bad way was part of it? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? That's Awkwafina said that shit?
I haven't heard that.
I didn't know about that. So there you go. That's the other thing. She keeps saying I'm open to having the conversation about that. So I said that earlier, and I agree with that. If she is open to having the conversation, if there are things that people need to get off their chest, she needs to sit down and have that. But again, just say, I'm showing you three different
iterations.
No, I get it. But that wasn't having the conversation. That was being on Ellen. Ellen is a yeah.
I'm using it as an example. Three different times it has been addressed. The Ellen situation, the Shang-Chi thing. It was literally asked in the press junket directly about.
Do you have the question, or you just had the part with her?
I got to find the whole clip, but it is literally asked about her black scent as Awkwafina.
Then I would. Yeah.
And so all these things, and you can see that's what this whole. Well, it's a conversation that can be had. It's the PR answer that we all know is bullshit, because again, every artist that you mentioned, every Afro artist that you mentioned about that, a G-Eazy, Eminem, a Lil Dicky, Lonely Island, anybody, they have acknowledged it. They've had, when they've been questioned about it, they've been open to. Eminem was questioned so much, everybody got to the point it was like, yeah, the answer's not going to change. We all know where he's from. The movie 8 Mile is his life. You know what I'm saying? Then you had D12 and all them got Royce the 5'9", and everybody coming like, yo, this is who this dude is. The hip hop documentaries that have talked. You had Trick and all these documentaries in Detroit, which, by the way, if you know about Detroit, don't fuck with Trick. He'll get your ass murdered and you'll never know about it. But you have all these different people who spoke up for him. Lil Dicky acknowledged. But when it comes to Awkwafina,
But then that's all. That's all I needed, because that was the part that I didn't understand. I literally was like, because this is, I'm sure, for as many people in here. So someone, because one of the things that we do in general, honestly, is code switch. Let's be real about that. Like, that's something that we have a tendency to. So someone asked, what is a black scent? A black scent specifically being like, if you talk like this, hi, I'm Steve, it's great to see you, blah blah blah, but then all of a sudden you're like, hey, what's up, y'all? It's S Dog in the crib doing the damn thing, you know what I mean? It's that whole idea. For
But
some
I think
reason, you
code switching
decided
doesn't
to add-
apply. I don't think
No, no,
code
no.
switching
Sure.
applies in this situation.
in this particular situation, but that's why I'm asking about her having said black scent. Is it specifically when she's doing the character of Awkwafina? Is it her persona in general that she's doing? I just didn't know enough about it, and people were just screaming that I was like, I don't know if this is equally as productive. And I also understand why someone might shut the fuck down. But to be honest with you, there has to be a point, because she is the one that is technically in the wrong based on what everyone is saying. She needs to, instead of throwing up tweets, sit down, have that conversation, some sort of town hall, hear the stuff that's coming, get some education off of that. It's clear that she understands culturally why some of this stuff is a problem, but a conversation has to be had about she did something wrong.
But again, there is I think that's the slight part you might be missing, unless we both are missing each other on the translation. The wrong part is your entire career is made off the back of a culture that you stole and you won't acknowledge. That's the wrong part. Again, everyone else in the arguments not the discussion, excuse me, have acknowledged that part. You've been asked about it.
But that's what I'm saying in that regard. In order for this to go away and to finally be put to bed, she has to openly sit down and have that said town hall that opens with, I have done this to get to where I am at this point. Let's have it.
But you won't get that, because people like this, these are just 4. And I know it's a very minuscule number in the grand spectrum of things. I understand that. I am definitely saying that. But because you consistently have people who, you're good, don't worry about them, fuck the haters, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, real life, because of those people who are not black people for the most part, because there are a couple that are black people that'll be like, yeah, what's she doing wrong? But for the most part, it is majority non-black people. So because of that, remember, what's our demographic? What's our percentage of the population of America? Like
12%,
12 to 17%. It's in that range. We don't matter in the grand scheme of things. But the white people that do it, the non-black people that do it, those are like, oh, you're good. So to her, it's okay. But the people in which you are mocking, it is literally a new age minstrel show. It is just as bad as when those minstrel shows back in the day, you put on this character, but you literally stated you would never mock your own culture. You would never demean your own culture. But then turned around and said, you don't have a culture. You get what I'm saying? It can't be.
But see, that's some of the stuff that I, you know what I'm saying, that I think helps connect those dots, because that's part of why I was so lost, is because, again, I see white people fucking using all sorts of quote unquote black scents all the time in all sorts of situations. And at this point, I'm just kind of like, okay, I mean, yeah, we can address it, but we certainly don't. Now, if what you're telling me is that there's a bunch of double talk coming out of her mouth or straight, and that's what I was getting at, because to me, that Ellen clip proves nothing. That proves zero. The Shang-Chi interview, I'll give you that. I would like to hear the question previous to it, because she does this kind of stuff.
What do you mean Awkwafina was trying? Awkwafina was a rapper. That question makes no sense.
It's because, no, like he said, you didn't finish the question. I've never heard of her until Shang-Chi. A lot of people had not heard of her prior. I obviously, again, let me finish before you just start making faces.
I understand.
I knew she was some sort of YouTube rapper that had crossed over. I had never seen a single one of her things. One of the first things that I saw her in, I knew she was in something else, but I remember her in The Farewell, which she was phenomenal in that.
She was in Ocean's, what was it, 8? What's that?
Ocean's 8, when it was all, when all the ladies came, she was in Ocean's 8. Like
Crazy Rich Asians.
Crazy Rich Asians. All the stuff that I've seen her do in Hollywood, like not YouTube shit, but like movie shit, has been good. And again, she hasn't necessarily been using all of that. It's just that she's been playing different characters. So I understand someone goes, she used to be a rapper. I didn't know that. That's what I'm not. What drives me crazy, and this is the last thing I think we should move on from the story after this, unless you have something else you want to say.
No, I'm good.
when we have these moments, when people try to use the whole argument of context matters, within the subject of I want to say the N-word, so context matters, fuck you. That's not, that has nothing to do with anything. But if you're talking about why we're upset about something, the context is important. Because again, I can point to God knows how many fucking people that do that shit.
Yeah,
and
but
so that's why I've been asking you questions.
And I know I get that.
Questions as to why that's what I'm saying. So to just scream and no one know why we're screaming, it's not helpful.
Fair.
That's all.
Fair. Blerds in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. All full episodes exclusively available on Twitch for the month of February. www.twitch.tv/BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe.